All right, welcome to the Pump Fake Pod for going over Wednesday, January 10th's card, just discussing it and breaking it down right now. Um, Currently, we got San Diego State is up 19-16, and we got halftime New Mexico UNLV 38-40. Some pretty damn good games today, and some blowouts. Um, I got my face hand up on Pitt today. That was far from wrong, but I I don't even know I turned that game off. But Duke was shooting like 64% to Pitt's 28. Like it was another game of Pitt bricks. Just it's what they did. I was capping around them not shooting as bad against North Carolina, where they were 5 of 29 from 3-point land. Hinson was 4 of 16. It continued, and it was just a brutal night for Pitt out there. Otherwise, it was not too bad overall. How about you?
Yeah, it's a pretty good night. I went to a movie at 6 o'clock, um, so that was interesting. So I got my plays in, and I would look at like 7:15. I looked at like 7:40, and then it didn't end too much after 8. So that was fun. When we started 2-1, of course, my .5 hits. Ball State winning, which is my alma mater for people that don't know. That was a fun one. They hung in tough with Akron, but they definitely the over was the play. Then and through, I almost took the game over, but ended up going with the team total over because I saw value in Ball State being close to 59. Um, I thought they could score 66 for sure, something like that. And then yeah, G Mason VCU wasn't even a sweat. And then I tailed you on Baylor Live. I saw him at plus 170. It's like no way. This is free value. I'll just put .5 on it. But it ended up going to um, plus 120, and I still ripped it. So 3-1 night plus .95 units. We'll take it starting to the week. I took the night off last night with my plays. So
Yeah, I don't know. Last night was a nice night. Little 4-0 action in the SWAC. It was a nice Monday. Made up for that rough national championship game.
oh,
Yeah, I got screwed
even
on the
hot.
Heisman. I got screwed on Penix Heisman this year because of Jane Daniels, and then I had that free DK parlay going. First leg was Washington national title. Uh, Definitely risky, but it was worth it. But man, that offense couldn't do anything. The defense played out their minds after the first quarter, gave up like 200 and some yards. They were getting stops. They were shutting them down. The offense just couldn't do shit. That was game was closer than the final score projected. But
Yeah,
anyway, this is
Penix was missing some key throws. Looked like he was
yeah, he
playing with
didn't look
an
comfortable.
injured spleen. He looked like Andrew Luck 4 seasons into the Colts. Man, he was yeah. It sucks
Yeah.
that he might have hurt his draft stock that game, which is bullshit because he's a good quarterback. He slings the ball super quick. He's just got to stop throwing off his back foot. But we're talking basketball. That's what we got, baby. The pump fake.
Exactly.
Sometimes there's a pump fake in football. People cream their jeans over Patrick
Little
Mahomes doing it, but
Big Ben pump fake back in the day.
Big Ben pump fake, exactly. Air Force is playing Nevada tight. Colby says, Colby, shout out, big listener. He's loyal. Colby's loyal.
Very
Um,
loyal.
Air Force is playing Nevada tight. Active dog for sure. Oh God, I hate betting on Steve Alford's team. I hate or any game involved with that team, but I like it.
Shot quality has this 48-55 right now. Nevada up 7. So both are kind of a little underperforming right now offensively. But yeah, that what was that? 16 points, 15 points pre-flop.
I think it,
Rob,
yeah.
shout out Rob's in the house.
Big Ben,
Yeah, I
what
think it
up,
was
Rob?
about 16. Yeah, no,
Big
the
Ben
Big Ben
pump
pump
fake.
fake was elite. But
It was
yeah,
elite.
no, he's Colby's right. Air Force is playing them tight. It kind of seems like a game Nevada probably didn't is overlooking a little bit, considering it is just Air Force. Who I don't know who they have on deck, but imagine it's a little bit tougher of an opponent than Air Force. But regardless,
We're high on Air Force at the beginning of the year, but they just have looked flat in the games that I've watched them, and I just started watching them recently, right? Eastern Washington, Utah State, hell, Northern Colorado. I watched that game too, which was that's in in-state game though. So go Troops.
Go Troops. I'm hopping into tomorrow right away. I guess we got Dayball. Thank God, absolute banger of a game. We got UWGBs laying 8 on the road at IUPUI. Over under 134 here. I have been a active component or active bettor when it comes to Green Bay. I've loved them this year. Something tells me that this is not the spot to back them. This is their third road game. Detroit, they walloped Detroit Mercy, but who hasn't? Oakland, they were up under the 4-minute mark, and then they ended up like having the total or spread push at 7, but some late game hang on the rim tech from Oakland screwed that, and they got the win by or cover by 1 point there, so that worked out for me. But I don't know. This is going to be, as Moneyline Mac from the TC likes to say, this is going to be an education day. The third graders are going to be jumping. This place is going to be loud. It's going to be, I don't know. Something's telling me that it just isn't the Green Bay spot. It's just not feeling right. My gut. On paper, they shouldn't have a problem with them. But IUPUI is defending the 3-point line a little bit more compared to where Oakland was, and that's where Green Bay likes to reside and do a lot of their work. Foster Wonder, I know I've been watching him. He's been shooting lights out from 3 when he steps on the floor. Noah Reynolds has been unconscious lately. So it's just the third game on the road. I'm going to be out on this one. If anything, I'm going to lean IUPUI on this one. Personally.
It's bothered me, but it still is going, I guess. God, first off, Indiana Farmers Coliseum will not be jumping tomorrow. They might be begging people to come in. Mantis got in to check into the game, right? How did they even do that? But IUPUI, man, fading them 3 years ago was amazing, and their team total unders were just a wagon. Fading them 2 years ago was great too. Fading them last year wasn't. They started to cover, and now they're starting to cover games. So me being 20 minutes north and you're close to Green Bay, this is like our home teams, I guess, in a way. But no, I'm not backing IUPUI, and I never will. So I'd have to lean Green Bay. I might wake up and feel frisky and take them, but I took Youngstown State against IUPUI, which is dumb. I never take large spreads for mid-majors, but went against my will because it's IUPUI. So will I wake up and fade the team at home in Indiana's Farmers Coliseum when there's 96 people there max? That might be a record-breaking attendance for them. Green Bay's playing good though, man. I mean, they're playing for something that they haven't in a while, and that's getting up there in the Horizon League, a conference. Who's going to play defense? Green Bay can play defense against the 2-point and the 3-point, inside the perimeter, outside the perimeter, versus IUPUI that just can't shoot at all, right? They kind of can get boards, maybe get some putbacks. I'm not backing them. I'll figure out if I bet this tomorrow. I'll have to lean Green Bay, even though it's opposite of what you're feeling. But I think it's just our home dogs, our home teams that are like, get me out of here. Even though I'm an IU fan and Ball State fan. Ball State played good tonight. IU, classic at Rutgers. So weak by not adding Rutgers -3.5 to the card. Freest.
Yeah, that was, I don't know. The first half was good. And then the second half, it opened up. Indiana had a solid lead there for a little bit. It was about 4 or 5 points, but they hung on to it.
Any state that has legal weed, don't bet. Indiana they just blunder, man. I don't know what it is, but and just on the road in general. But yeah, I'll have to lean. We'll maybe do a battle on this tomorrow. We'll see. Go Phoenix, baby.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I can't argue any of your points. Green Bay is a better team. They actually play some defense here. They're a top 100 defense and effective field goal percentage actually in the country too. I don't know, but I don't know. I got a weird feeling, but IUPUI, like Colby said in the chat, they are coming back home. It's been 2 road games. Now they're coming home. What does that really matter? probably not. But yeah, I mean, I don't mean it'd be jumping, but there should be kids there.
It
Not that
won't be
that sounded weird,
jumping.
but
Yeah, now that you say the kids are there, I was just about to say like, I'm actually running there.
pause.
No, I think if I went there, they would be like, "Do you have a ticket?" I'd say no. They'd be like, "Just come on in anyway." At like 11 o'clock,
Just
12 o'clock.
just buy a hot dog for lunch and support the athletic program.
Show up in a LeBron James jersey and shorts, and then just freak the people out that I'm checking in
Oh
again.
God, it's happening. Yeah, I mean, we don't have to spend too much time on this like we already have, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll probably in the morning. I'll probably wake up and be like, "Yeah, Green Bay is the side." I did flip up to 8 here now too, so um, yeah, if you're gonna put a gun to my head, I guess yeah, I'd have to trust Green Bay. But 3 road games is pretty tough. But they did have Oakland on the ropes there, I guess, at the end. Just kind of didn't
This is the
didn't pull through at the end, and IUPUI versus Oakland on the road is a little bit different competition here.
Yeah, they played Oakland good. I mean, IEP wise, it just depends on what comes out, which team they come out, right? They played Youngstown actually really tough. They played Cleveland State actually pretty, I mean, in the first half at least. I just, I mean, they beat Spalding, they beat Cleary, they beat Defiance. Defiance, if that's in Ohio, that town is the size of maybe 1,500 people max. I mean, Defiance still put up 75 on them. No disrespect to the city, town of Defiance, Ohio. Love you guys. Shout out my grandma.
All right, fuck it. Are we locking Green
Move
Bay then?
on. I think we're talking myself into it. I'll have to sleep on it
All
and
right. Nope.
dream
I'm
about
putting it in because I'm
dreaming about
doing it right now.
Jaguars in my sleep, or if I'm
I
dreaming
can't
about
pull the trigger.
Phoenix.
It's sitting right there, but it'll sit my slip while we talk the rest of these games.
It might go to 10 by tomorrow morning. Okay. Oh, this one's
Can we
tough. My
really lay
God.
points with that many points? Okay, fuck it. Next,
It's
another
it's
Horizon.
IUPUI. Maybe take their team total under. Okay, next on the horizon because this game's much better. Yes.
Yes.
We got Powers Hamburgers. Shout out Powers Hamburgers in Fort Wayne. It's the best slider you'll ever have. I say it every episode. Against Youngstown State. I was just talking about Youngstown State not covering against IUPUI. They really came out slow, but then turned it on the last 2 minutes of the game and went up by double digits for the first time that I saw pretty much all game. Um, Trevor, we've been riding the mastodons for quite some time, and elephants would probably beat penguins in a battle for animals if that's going to be your cap on this one, because this one's a toss up, man. Youngstown State, they'll have a decent crowd, but IPFW, they make teams turn it over. And they don't turn it over on offense. Youngstown doesn't force turnovers. They're not the best at defending the three, which IPFW shoots well. It'll be a tough battle down low. And that's where Youngstown State's going to have to beat IPFW, right? They're going to have to beat IPFW by getting the rebounds, putting them back, shooting those little inside the perimeter shots, maybe, spread it around, passing cut, and do those backdoor cuts that are going to beat IPFW down low. Yeah, you got some ballers on both sides, right? Ziggy Reed, Brandon Rush, not the Kansas player, Rashid Bello on IPFW, Jalen Jackson. IPFW, a smaller team, so they're going to have to play against Youngstown State in their rebounding. I mean, they actually match up pretty well with 6'7", 6'8", but Youngstown just does a tad bit better at defensive rebounding. So I think that's going to be the key here for Youngstown State. My bet, do we just take the over and just hope for the best? Or is that a square play?
I don't know. I kind of like IPFW outright here. I mean, you're looking at this. They're a top 20 3-point defensive team, 28.4 allowed, and they shoot top 40, 37%. If you're looking at Youngstown State's defense, they're allowing 36% from three, 32% of teams' points to come from 3-point land, which is where IPFW can put a hurting on you, and they like to do. 62nd in the country with 35.5% of their total points coming from 3-point land here. They don't turn the ball over; they force turnovers. Youngstown State doesn't get to the line. 345th in free throws attempted and per field goal attempted in the country. Fort Wayne's middle of the road in that. But like you said, the rebounding battle is going to be a big one here. If IPFW isn't hitting these threes and they're going to rely on, they're going to need to rely on getting rebounds. Youngstown State's gonna have a little bit of an edge here, so I think they would end up probably pulling it out. Yeah, I think it's kind of suspect that they're catching 4 points on the road here. Let me see here. Just lost my sheet. I'm trying to see who they're playing. Youngstown, yeah, they just came off a home win. They only beat IUPUI by 10 at home. Otherwise, they lost to Northern Kentucky and Oakland. And Fort Wayne's coming off of that Wright State loss, 106-98. That game was a total blowout. I know we had talked about it Saturday. We had eyes on it. It was ugly. They managed to come back in that. But this is their first road game in the conference here. So I lean Fort Wayne here. I think they're going to be able to get it done. And just because of the 3-point ball, Youngstown State's not defending it, and they're giving up a high percentage of shots.
Yeah, this Youngstown State team, not the same as it was last couple years. If there was their time to win the Horizon and make the tournament, it was then. Other than that,
It was
Youngstown
last
State,
year.
yeah, it's
With,
and they had a good
Dwayne
team 2 years
Cohill.
ago. Yeah, I mean their team was fun to watch. I don't know if it's the same vibe in Youngstown State, and I can't speak on the arena, but they had that place pretty much rocking. IPFW is a good team. I think this place might be a tad bit jumping. Not really. It's a smaller arena. Uh, I'm gonna have to I guess, lean Youngstown on the money line. I don't like this. I don't like this number at 4, so I'm probably not gonna bet it. I'd lean the over as well. Just rooting for points since how fast these teams run. Even Youngstown State, though, that kind of doesn't really run as fast as IPFW. They're gonna have to match IPFW, and they will because they're just above average but just below average um, pace for the entire or no, they're just right around average for pace. So they'll match IPFW's pace, which is top 30 in the country um, of up tempo play. So I kind of just want to root for the points, maybe a live bet spot for me on the total. And Youngstown State, I think, pulls it out, but the number's just right. But I'll be rooting for Powers Hamburgers and IPFW though.
Yeah, can't argue any of that, but I think it'll be Youngstown or IPFW in the over to get you there. Next game, little Big Ten action. Northwestern is headed to Penn State. Northwestern off of the big Michigan State win, where they just bullied them at home. I think Michigan State didn't lead by more than 4 or 5 points most of that game. And then Penn State's coming off of that crazy comeback. I know they were down. What were they down, like 15 or 16 in the first half to Michigan? Then Michigan just collapsed and gave Penn State the win there. So now they're headed back to Penn State here, and this one's going to actually be played at Penn State, not a neutral site. I know it was at the Palestra last game because they said it was because they were allowing Martelli to coach, which is kind of weird in the middle of the season, but it's Michigan basketball. They're kind of a joke right now, so whatever there. But yeah, Penn State's headed home. This is a turnover heavy team. Northwestern doesn't turn it over, and they force turnovers. The rebounding non-existent for both of these teams almost. But Penn State can defend the 3, which is where Northwestern likes to shoot. They're pretty damn good out there, 37%. Shoot great free throws, but this is their second conference road game here. They beat Purdue at home. They lost to Illinois on the road by 30. And Michigan State, they just beat. Penn State lost to Michigan State on the road by 31. So this is it's kind of just a interesting game. Both have lost or beat other opponents that they've played, but I would lean Penn State in this one coming home. Just fading Northwestern off of the big Michigan State when they bullied them. They dominated that game. Students were rocking. Now you're not going to have the students to your back. Penn State on the road or at home has been Not too bad, minus they did lose to Bucknell at home. That's I don't know, can't really come up with an excuse for that one. That was a fucking brutal loss. But other than that, they've been just fine. This will be the toughest opponent they've had to see at home, though. Big Ten opponent too. But I think it'll be Mike Rhodes and company getting it done. Probably the biggest game of his career so far. It'll be in Penn State at University Park. I think they'll get it jumping.
Get the fuck out of here. Penn State sucks. No, I don't. I mean, listen, it's terrible taking spots on the road, right? In the Big Ten, I think it's probably some of the toughest bets that you can place. I mean, Penn State. I mean, they beat Ohio State at home too. I don't know what you feel like on Ohio State. They're not the best team, but they're definitely one of the better teams in the Big Ten. Oh man, this is one where I kind of lean Northwestern, but the -1 is a little bit telling, in my opinion, that Penn State's going to make this close. Either way that you take it is going to be a sweat. The price on the over/under is perfect. Um, I'll I'll lean with you on Penn State, but I kind of want to bet on other games than this one. So yeah, best of luck, dude. I mean, I think Penn State can hang. It's a home dog. If they're gonna win this game, they're gonna have to. If they're gonna win any games in Big Ten, it's gonna be this one. Penn State's gonna have a ton of trouble coming up. I think. Uh, Purdue. Purdue. Is that a look ahead spot? Not really. It's away. Then they got Wisconsin. Then back. They're going to the Value City Arena for Ohio State. Um, so they got a tough 3 games next, which are probably losses. Um, so I think they need to try to get this done. They might be playing a little desperate against Northwestern, who played really well against Michigan State. They kind of play one game good and then one game bad. So maybe that comes into play here for Penn State.
Yeah, I like you said. I think they played desperate. This is a team that you're at home. You got to win this one after you're showing already. You lost to Maryland on the road, Michigan State. Then you beat Michigan in a comeback win. So now you're kind of riding high. I think that momentum carries over. Um, I know it sounds like Rob's liking Northwestern here. Northwestern's laying a pick'em line after mauling Michigan State and already having a win over Purdue. Yeah, I think he's leaning Northwestern here, but I'm not going to be betting this game. This is just there's better games to bet on than this, but I lean Penn State in this one. I just think this is a get up spot for the team after that big comeback win, and now Mike Rhodes arguably his biggest game of the year so far. So I think Penn State would get this done.
We'll see. Yeah, and my gut told me Northwestern when I first looked at this game. So it's like it's one of those games I'll go back and forth all night on, and then make a decision. And I hate that. So see how Ace Baldwin
Yeah,
plays. What we got next? Out
yeah, that's
after
really
Happy
how the whole
Valley.
team goes. Him and Clary.
Yeah.
If they don't show up, they're gonna get cooked.
Collins has them boys running. I love Chris Collins. Providence, St. John's -7.5. Okay. Yeah. Let's do it. No question. That's it. That's all we need to talk about. St. John's. Providence defense is the only thing that would screw up the cap of St. John's, right? Providence defense, even without Bryce Hopkins, is good. Now I know Bryce Hopkins is one of the better defenders, but Aduro's great. Devin Carter's great. So you're going Hopkins, who's stepping in for Hopkins, they're going to have to pick it up, especially on defense versus more so on the other side of the ball. So yeah, I think St. John's offense is going to be high octane. It's going to be one down low for sure, and St. John's is going to need to step it up. Soriano got a decent amount of boards last game. I think what was it, 6 or 7? We were on the 10 plus, but that did not hit.
He had 8.
He had 8, but he had like it. I could tell it was cooked, right? He had like 2 at halftime or something like that. So yeah, he's
Yeah,
feast
he
or
got
famine, man.
3 in the last like 4 minutes. Garbage time rebounds.
But Aduro can hang though with Soriano, and I think that matchup's going to be pretty good. It just depends if Providence can actually shoot the ball right. 205th in 3-point percentage. They're good down low. So is St. John's, and so is St. John's defense. So yeah, 7.5. Madison Square Garden. I hate laying 7.5 with the St. John's team, but this is different. It's Ricky P. This Providence
This is
team.
not. This is a
Oh,
Queens. Yep, no MSG in this one.
it's not MSG.
Nope, actual home court.
Oh, nice. Um, yeah, I mean, I'll lean St. John's. I'll lean St. John's on that and take the 7. Let's go, Rob. Yeah, I think that's what you meant, because then he was saying like they should be laying like 3 or 4, or 5 is what he was insinuating, I think. Um, no, I love it. What do you got on St. John's and Ricky P? I know you're loving St. John's here. So I don't want to steal your thunder. Is that who you're still leaning after digging a little bit? You're on mute.
Damn, that was spirited for a minute there. Providence, or St. John's again. Providence. Providence has lost their last two, 1-1 at home and away. They lost to Seton Hall at home. That was the game Bryce Hopkins tore his knee up, so he's gone for season. Then they go to Creighton and lose by 9, which I thought they held on a little bit better than I thought they would with a first game without Bryce Hopkins. But that Butler game too, they also should not have won. Butler, just all you have to do is foul. All they do is foul. They win the damn game outright instead of get blown out by 10 in overtime. So that was kind of a lucky win. But now you're going to head to St. John's. I think St. John's is going to just do what they want. I mean, Soriano's going to own the paint. I like Adoro, but Soriano is just a man amongst boys. Like, it doesn't matter who he's playing. He's going to own the paint. Ledlam and Louise are going to be banging with ticket gains now because there's no Bryce Hopkins. Who did they actually slide in there last game? I have to look. I'm going to guess probably Aduro and Castro probably slid over. So, I mean, they got bigger bodies, but these guys don't play as much. Now you're going to force a guy who's transferred from George Mason a bigger role in conference play with no Bryce Hopkins. I mean, Jordan Dingle's been electric from, I think he was from Penn, came from Penn, little Ivy League, and Dennis Jenkins. I think Pitino's got the squad rolling. I think this is going to be an ass whooping. I know these games have been tight for the most part, but I think Providence is walking into a buzzsaw tomorrow at St. John's, coming off of a 16-point Butler win and then a 10-point road Villanova win. I think St. John's just mauls them.
Yeah, I like that, and maybe even lean in a St. John's team total over. I'll have to look at that, but I think they get 76 here. What we got next? New Mexico's so cooked, by the way.
Nah, fam. So much time. Just kidding. Yeah, they're cooked.
I think they're getting a technical foul here. Clemson -2 against Virginia Tech. Man, you love this Virginia Tech team. Not this team, but you've loved Virginia Tech in the past, right?
Last year, I was all over their first half team totals. They just showed up and they just shot lights out. Towards the end of the season, it cooled off, but the beginning half and first part of conference season, it was rolling. But other than that, don't really give two shits about this team.
Fuck it. Give me Clemson money line. Don't love it with that line, but I guess I'll take the money line. I don't like betting ranked teams at away sites, but this Virginia Tech team's not good. Clemson's got to get this win if they want to be consistent with the ACC, or consistent with the top dogs in the ACC, right? Losing to Miami in a tough battle, losing to North Carolina by 10, when if you make, let's say, 6 threes, 4 threes, you win that game almost. I mean, they couldn't hit shit against North Carolina on their home floor. They laid an egg. Um, they got Virginia Tech. There's no look ahead spot. They got Boston College at home, Georgia Tech at home, Florida State away. They don't play Duke at Duke until January 27th. They need to go on a 4-game win streak, and it starts with Virginia Tech. I love this Clemson team. They play some weird styled ball that just is grind you out, but also I'm going to shoot lights out in your face, and they're going to need to come out strong. I think Virginia Tech is going to be a tough match for them, though, just based on how Clemson's defense plays. They don't really force turnovers at all. They're 348th in forcing turnovers. They don't make free throws, which killed us against North Carolina as well, not making free throws or making 3-pointers. When you're one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country, Virginia Tech is going to play some grindy out ball. But I mean, off of 2 losses kind of scares me too. But I'm going to eat some chalk here and be a little square and bet Clemson. If they lose 3 in a row, I'm going to be pissed, and this is not my favorite team anymore in the country.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I mean, Clemson shot just horribly last game. 1 of 18 from 3-point land. 1 of 18. Also to note, that was against North Carolina, where granted Penn got their dicks kicked in tonight, but they also shot 5 of 29 from 3 against North Carolina. Either they're kind of getting either insanely lucky, or this is just a legitimately good 3-point defense from North Carolina that's skewing a lot of these games under, because that was 120 points. And then the game prior was 127 against Pitt in conference play. So just something to kind of look at. I mean, could just be 2 incredibly horrific shooting performances, but that's just something to note. But I'm with you. I'm nothing really too impressed with this Virginia Tech team. They shoot lights out at the free throw line. They get to the free throw line a lot, but Clemson, they're not a huge fouling team. They shoot really great. They don't force turnovers, though. That's the one thing they could maximize on tomorrow, because Virginia Tech's about middle of the pack at best at hanging on to the ball, so they're getting their fair share of turnovers. But Clemson doesn't get to the free throw line at all. 326 in the country for free throw attempted per field goal attempted. So this game could easily be won and lost at the line if they're going to. Clemson's going to find themselves in foul trouble and just keep sending Virginia Tech there as a 78% free throw shooting team at home. It could be trouble. Virginia Tech is pretty good at defending the 3-point line, which is where Clemson wants to play. So I would actually lean Virginia Tech in this one. Granted, I know they both lost back-to-back games. Miami and North Carolina are pretty good opponents, but Virginia Tech lost to Wake Forest and Florida State. Florida State beat Wake Forest today also. So I would lean Virginia Tech in this one, just getting back home, getting right under Mike Young. I think they finally get that conference win today or tomorrow or today, I guess.
I love it. I love it. I love it. What else we got? It's a banger slate. Banger slate. You're on mute, Trevor. That's gonna be our that's gonna be like our bit. That's how many. What's the over under of Trevor on mute that we have to remind him?
3.5.
3.5.
Yeah, New Mexico is
solid line. Oh yeah, they're done, man. They're done off that technical.
Need a huge run. Well, there's a layup. All right, there starts the run. 2-0 run for New Mexico. All right, next game. Kansas is at UCF. The Bounce House is getting their first Big 12 conference game. I think this is a Kansas fuck you up game. 6.5. I know UCF's at home, but do they really know what to expect with Kansas here? I mean, you can argue Kansas never played. Don't quote me on that. If they have, it's been a minute, but they don't play here. They don't know the sight lines. They don't know the rims, anything. So I would actually I just think Kansas is going to fuck them up. McCullers, Hunter Dickinson's been pretty solid lately. I just after what UCF, after what Kansas State did to UCF, I think Kansas can do the same thing, even though it is on the road. I think them laying 6.5, 2 possessions or 3 possessions there is kind of telling you that they think it's going to be a smash spot. So I think we want to get on this one early before jumps up to like 7.5 or 8 or something.
Hmm. Give me the under here. I see 144.5. This is an under spot for me. I hate betting that against a Kansas team that could easily put up 80. No problem. But they kind of play to their right, play down to the team that they're playing. I'm not saying UCF is a terrible team, but they've gotten punched in the face a little bit, losing to Kansas State by how many points? Almost 30. They beat Bethune-Cookman at home, Florida A&M, which Florida A&M was in that game. I had UCF minus 20, and that wasn't even freaking close. Um, Maine, they played at home. Mississippi, they played only and lost by 2. It's the best team that they've faced in their home court. So I bet it will be rocking for sure against a Kansas team. I'll lean with you in the spread, but I kind of like the under here as well. Just think that UCF, they don't shoot the ball at all, and Kansas can defend really well, and so does UCF. So if UCF can hold Kansas to 70 something points, UCF scores somewhere in the low 60s. It's a cover.
Yeah, I can't argue with that either. I mean, I'm not sure how much UCF is going to score here. I know it's at home, but I don't know. I think Kansas can hold them under 65, no problem. So, heading next in a little Horizon League action, Northern Kentucky is headed to Oakland. Oakland's laying 5.5. Over under is 148. Northern Kentucky had a pretty bad collapse against Cleveland State the other day. There was they ended up having an 11-1 run, but then ended up just giving it right back immediately after, and then lost in overtime. Absolutely crazy game, buzzer beater off the glass um, for Northern Kentucky to force the overtime, but they didn't get it done in overtime there. Oakland is coming off of the 6-point win against Green Bay, 5-point home win against Milwaukee. Both of those teams, I would argue, have a little bit better defense than or offense than Northern Kentucky's got. I mean, Green Bay's been, like we said, they've been just fine on offense. They can put up 70. They can win those low scoring ones. But Oakland, I think this is the game they finally get. You need to get this one. You have IUPUI on deck, so they're not really looking ahead to anything. I think they put all their focus and energy on finally get a convincing home win tomorrow. None of these nail biters that they've come down to against Milwaukee and Green Bay, and Northern Kentucky maybe just a little bit of a letdown spot. After that tough loss to Cleveland State, they do have Detroit on deck too, so maybe they're licking their chops a little bit to get to Detroit to whoop their ass.
Well, that's the same for IUPUI. When I initially looked at it and did the eye test, I thought Northern Kentucky, but now thinking about it, it's like, okay, maybe that's so square that it's 5.5, right? So want to lean Oakland with you on that. But I will not be playing this game tomorrow and just enjoying it because I know some crazy shit's going to happen because it's the Horizon and there's other games to bet on. But I will lean the Grizzlies with you since they've kind of been one of our teams in our arsenal that we bet on, right? Um, but 5.5 is a lot of points with Northern Kentucky that can hang around, and they've hung around with good teams. So that made me like it at first, but I'll ride the Grizzlies with you. Go Michigan, people. Shut up,
Yeah,
Noah
go
Bean.
Michigan. Hey,
Go Michigan.
Michigan needs this. I mean, they've had a rough week. Michigan State basketball loss. They won a national title. They need Oakland to get them a win, get them feeling good
Their
finally.
football coach gets fired for jacking off. Their whole team is just the whole program's in shambles right now in East Lansing.
It's awful. But they do have Oakland basketball. Next game, Tennessee is headed to Mississippi State. Over under is 139. Tennessee absolutely drummed Ole Miss on Saturday. There, 90-64. That game was really never close. Mississippi State coming off of the 6-point loss to South Carolina on the road, coming home to get Tennessee, one of the nation's best defenses, versus two top 10 defenses here in the country going at it. The total 139, doesn't that kind of seem a little high for two elite defenses that have kind of been locked down on defense? I mean, Tennessee's alone 64, 50, 46, 70 to NC State, 79 to Illinois, in a victory, 66 at George Mason, 60 to Kansas. North Carolina put up 100 on them, but they held Kansas, or 69 to Kansas. So I mean, they're holding teams under 70 in elite teams. Tennessee, their offense, it's been a lot better than it has been. They're playing a lot faster. It seems to be helping, so they're not getting stagnant on offense and just bricking shots. But Mississippi State, man, I don't know. I don't know if I just don't watch enough of their hoops, or if the last year's stink is still on me. I don't really care for this offense too much. 31% from three. I mean, they're pounding it inside, but Tennessee's not going to let you do that. You're going to have to shoot some threes, and Mississippi State's not very good at that. Free throws, they're a lot better than last year, shooting 72%. Last year they were one of the worst, 65%. So they've significantly increased at the line. But I don't know, this Tennessee team just seems like a wagon. They've lost to North Carolina, Kansas, and Purdue. Everyone else they've beaten. They beat Illinois by 7. NC State they beat by 9. Ole Miss they walloped by 24. Like Wisconsin they beat by 10 in Wisconsin. Like they're beating some serious teams here. I get it's conference play, but if you're gonna give me a bucket with Tennessee on the road, I think I'm gonna take that.
Yeah, I'll tell you with that. I like Tennessee here. Might do an orange team parlay on the road. Tennessee and Clemson. We'll see. Yeah, I can lean the under with you, but I think Tennessee's running at a faster pace this year than we've seen them run. A much of more, they always have been a really efficient team as well. Excuse me, especially on offense, right? Um, but the way they're running this year is just a little bit faster than recent years. I would lean the under, but I don't. I think that Mississippi State, right? We've seen them put up a ton of points, maybe against the low lead teams, um, but I'll lean Tennessee with you and maybe probably take that um, and lean the under, but I think it's priced accordingly. I think it could easily sneak into the 140s, especially at a short spread. Um, because Tennessee is going to be able to get some shots up tomorrow. It's looking like, and Mississippi State's going to have to try their best to slow them down. And what's going to happen is, I think, is Mississippi State's going to try to slow them down on offense, and their shots aren't going to fall as well as Tennessee's. So that's why I lean Tennessee with you. I think the over/under is priced accordingly, although I did lean that initially on the under. We got more games at 7 o'clock, don't we? Are we going to talk about
Oh,
Fairleigh Dickinson versus Chicago State next, or what?
I mean, we can if you want.
No, I have no play on that. Go Chicago State.
The one thing I will say, Mississippi State shooting better free throws. Tennessee's 269th in the country, sending opponents to the line 21.4 times. On the road, that balloons up to 28.8 times on the road. So, that could come into factor, because Mississippi State is getting to the free throw line. Let me just look here. Free throws attempted. Let's come on. Of course, it's not gonna find it for me. Mississippi State. There we go. 71st in the country. 21.8 free throw attempts per game at home. That's up to 23.7. So, if Tennessee's going to play the foul game and just play lazy defense after that Ole Miss stopping, and then send Mississippi State to the line, they can make the free throws this year. So this, that could be the turning point. But I still trust this Tennessee offense a lot more, and their defense has been solid. So I'll take the gamble of them playing better ball on the road.
I like it. What else we got? What's next? Miami -16 versus Louisville. Nope. Jumping over to the 8 o'clock slate. Drake and Indiana
You want to
State.
talk? We can talk Miami if you want.
Don't need to talk him too much. I hate the 16 spread, but I just feel like
Feels too big.
Miami. It feels a little too big, but I think the Miami team total is totally in play. It's gonna be in the high 80s, but Louisville sucks. They stink. Louisville
Yeah.
sucks. Louisville couldn't beat some high school teams in Indiana, I feel like.
No.
Okay, I'm lying, but they let Pittsburgh score 83 points. We've seen Pittsburgh play basketball. I cannot watch or bet Pittsburgh anymore. They're on my no bet list. Tell me that and remind me of that from January now to March 9th.
Nick, I'm seeing Indiana State's team totals 78.5.
78?
Riddle me that. 78.5 even money.
Where at? I don't have their team totals. It'll be 82 by
Bovada,
tomorrow.
offshore.
Fucking DraftKings, you're scared. You're freaking scared of the
Oh,
team
he's talking
totals. Open
Miami.
them up.
Okay.
Oh,
He's
Miami.
talking. That's actually a good. I never really thought of that.
So it's 80. Oh, so he's saying that it's 87.
Miami. Here it is.
They could score 90.
Yeah, 80. I see 86.5.
Only Louisville game. I'll be honest. The only Louisville game I've watched is obviously IU Louisville, but also Louisville like UMBC, which was a banger freaking game to start the year. That was like first games I've watched. Sadly, and the Kentucky game, and I haven't seen them compete at all. They compete against New Mexico State, Bellarmine, Pepperdine. Come on, they're not gonna do shit. We'll see what I feel tomorrow. But that seems like a lot of points. Although I think Miami can easily win by 20.
I'm with you. I would actually. That team total, like Nick said, it's not actually a bad look. I mean, like you had said, they gave up 53 to Pitt. Virginia, they gave up 77. Yep, 77. Kentucky, 95. Pepperdine, they gave up 63. That was at home. Arkansas State, they gave up 75. DePaul, they gave up 75. Yeah, I mean, New Mexico State still put up 84 on them. Yeah, I don't hate that team total. 86 is not a bad number. I actually may fire on that. I think they're getting Wooga and Pack. I think Pack is back too, isn't he? They're both back.
Yeah. I believe so.
And Miami's coming off of a road loss to Wake Forest in overtime. Now you get to come home and beat up Louisville. Oof.
It's CBB though, so the injury announcements are always tough. But yeah, I'm with you. Another thing I want to point out: High Point UNCL Asheville is going to be a great game. I don't mind that over there as well. I don't care if it's in the low 150s. That's going to be a great game. They're all game time decision. Nick said.
Yeah,
great.
So I guess
so we'll find out at 6:45 when they're on the floor or not. So
pretty much. Nick, New Mexico State is cooked. That was the worst. I bet on Pitt +5 and New Mexico live. Fuck me. Next game, we got some bangers left to talk about real quick. Indiana State at Drake, laying 1. Curious what Nick thinks about that. This is that Drake team that was coming off of a loss at Belmont. Belmont was without a player to start the game. I forget what his name was. Saw the news. I hopped on Drake first half thinking they would jump on him. Belmont jumped on them and never gave up. It was just they were just landing head body. They were fucking knocking them out. I think Drake's gonna come home. DeVries and company versus Indiana State. This game is gonna be one of the best of the day. Arguably, I don't give a shit if it is mid-major. This is gonna be a great game. Drake allowing 32% of teams points from 3, 35% they're allowing. They're forcing turnovers. They're not giving the ball away. Indiana State doesn't grab rebounds much offensively. Like to crash the defensive glass. Same with Drake.
You're not doing
Both.
it. You're not
What's
doing
that?
it, are you? You taking Drake? Are you taking Drake?
I don't know. This is a big spot for Drake. I mean, shit, this place is gonna be jumping.
Off.
I think I may just take the over. I mean, both of these teams are good enough and play fast paced that they will, get the shots. I mean, we can keep people can say that Indiana State's not going to shoot that good all year. They're doing it. They're still 41.4%. They're still fucking doing it. You're fine. It's going to happen. So this is a team that's going to get 85 at least every game. Drake is a team that plays fast enough and is good enough offensively to put up points too. Indiana State's given up the 14th most points inside the paint, 58% of teams' points. So even if Drake's not getting you or getting threes or other shots to fall, they can just go inside. Doesn't matter. And Avia's a fouling machine, so he'll send them to the line. Both are shooting 77% from Drake, 76.4 from Indiana State. Indiana State's getting to the line 37% of times, 37% on the offensive end, and Drake 31%. Not that great, but if you're going inside, you're bound to find some fouls and whatnot. So I will actually. What's the overs 157? Oof, it's tough, but I would actually lean over in this one. I'm probably, if anything, look for a live line. Maybe they start slow or something, and we can um, get a better number in the lower 150s or something. But I don't see a world where both of these teams don't end with at least 80 plus. Like, this is going to be a back and forth, fast paced game. Plenty of shot making on both ends too.
Who dares me to take the under? Because that'd be crazy. Let's. I'm gonna take Indiana State. I can't fade them. I love Indiana State. Um, they're fun to watch. You're right though. It's gonna be a tough game. Des Moines is gonna be absolutely rocking. Um, boozing in Iowa. Drake's gonna be booze. All the fans are gonna be fired up for this game. They know that Indiana State is a top 25 team in the hearts of the country. And this will be one of Indiana State's toughest tests of the season, right? Obviously, they've played Alabama, Southern Illinois, they mollywopped, Michigan State. Other than that, I'm not counting any of these teams as good wins. Yes, I love my Ball State Cardinals. Bradley, not the same team as they were. Toledo, not the same team. But an away win at Northern Iowa is a great win, and they should have won by way more than 11. Right? They totally laid it off at the end. I think 157's probably going to be a sweat regardless of what you take, but I'm not taking it under here, and I'm going to ride the Sycamores. Although I think you're probably in play with Drake in the home spot. Am I mistaken that it opened up with Indiana State -1 and moved to Drake? Do you see that?
I'm looking real quick.
Let's ask our stat guy over there. Hey, stat guy, what is it? Let's see.
Indiana State. Yes, you're right. It did open Indiana State by 1. And it opened 158.5.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean 157's a ton of points.
Yeah.
A weird stat here is Drake. That line hasn't been covered in a Drake game at home 18 out of 20 times, the last 20, but they haven't seen a team like this, and this team's an anomaly. Indiana State's going to run and gun, so is Drake. So, but I'll still take the Sycamores. Screw the line movement. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think, I don't know. I'm not gonna fade Indiana here. I would lean the over, and Drake though. But I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll play. You got to put your emotions aside at the end of the day. But yeah, just lean right now, and don't look now. New Mexico's down 11. They're making a run.
Stop. they're cooked. I'm giving up.
Yeah, I probably should too. Next, we got North Carolina on the road, headed to NC State. You want to kick this one off?
This is the game that I actually didn't get to really cap pregame. NC State's, I can't bet this team, right? They fucking beat Virginia, barely beat Notre Dame. I think North Carolina's the better team, regardless. This place is gonna be rocking though. Maybe not rocking, but I'll lean North Carolina -4. Um, Probably won't make my card. Um, but I will lean North Carolina there, just because they're the better team, right? I think they do a lot of things better than North Carolina State. North Carolina State has an advantage. They don't turn the ball over, right? And UNC doesn't force turnovers, so NC State's going to be able to get up a lot more shots. I'll lean the over here as well. I think this game will be pretty close, right? I like it 80-75, 80-74. So maybe I don't love the over under. I think they're begging you to take the over, just knowing that this team's gonna come out swinging. But I'll take North Carolina -4. They may, yeah. NC
I
State
hear you.
stinks.
No, NC State does stink, which has me kind of looking at the under. I'm not sure if that's kind of just like falling for the cheese with this one. Let me see where it opened. But like I said, North Carolina, the last two games of they've scored 70 some points, but the totals have been in the 120s. They're holding teams. This opened at 154, so it's up to 154 and a half, I guess. Yeah, it's down. Okay, it opened at 155 on my book offshore. Now it's down to 154 and a half. But I lean that under. I mean, if we look what North Carolina, that defense, Clemson, they held them to 55 points in Clemson. That wasn't it was in Clemson. Pittsburgh, they held them to 57. Granted, Pittsburgh struggling to make shots right now. They're just an awful stretch. They look ugly. But other than that, outside of the conference, they're giving up points. Even Villanova put up 81 on them. But in the conference here, Pittsburgh and Clemson, you could kind of compare them to NC State right now. NC State less than 70% at the free throw line. NC State doesn't get to the line. They're not turning the ball over either. So they're gonna get their possessions at least. It's just a matter of North Carolina defense, and the defense is playing great. They're holding the teams to, let me do the math, 10 carry 40 47. So they're 6 of 47 in the last two games. Pittsburgh and Clemson combined are 6 of 47 from 3-point land, and those were at home. Now they're going to finish up. This is the third game on the road, though. Interstate rivalry. NC State did beat them last time. Last game they played, it wasn't NC State. They won by 8. So North Carolina could be looking for a little bit of revenge here too. And these totals, the last game was 155 went under, 153 went under, 151, 151, 150, 146. Those four went over, but the last two have gone under. And now you're getting similar rosters. In NC State essentially or NC is the one that I'm really concerned about because that defense has ratcheted up in conference play here. So I'm actually leaning the under 155. I actually kind of really like that. Because North Carolina, they're playing fast, but they're 314th on defense, forcing you to use about 18 seconds of the shot clock. NC State plays fast offensively. They don't really do anything too great offensively. I mean, they just put up 54. Granted, it was on the road at Notre Dame. 83 on Detroit Mercy. Congrats. Tennessee held them to 70. Boston College, they got 84 in overtime. Mississippi held them to 52. So I mean, if they've stumbled to some good defenses, they can get got, and I think they'll probably get got tomorrow. And give me the under in that one, under 155 or 54 and a half. Sorry. Yeah. Rob saying this would be UNC's third straight in conference road win. That's going to be
True.
tough, and They not only need to win, but need to win by 5. Yeah, that's gonna be tough. I like this defense. It's been showing up lately. I mean, granted, 6 of 47 is probably a little bit lucky from the 3 point perspective, but NC State's not looking to jack up threes. 206 in the country for 3 point attempted per field goal attempted. So they're not getting crazy about jacking them up. They're going to have to tomorrow. I think Baycott's going to own the paint. He's not going to give up much. He's going to grab rebounds. DJ Burns is, DJ Burns is solid, but Baycott's got about 3 inches on him, and he's a man. DJ Burns is kind of he's a little doughy, like me. So I mean, I think Baycott's going to get his tomorrow. Yeah, I think it's just going to be probably won't be ugly, or it probably won't be pretty, but I think it'll be a lower scoring game.
You know what they say, 3 inches goes a long way. I'd love an extra 3 inches for sure. On my height, that is. On my height, that is for sure.
Every
But
inch
all right,
matters.
screw NC State. I can't talk about that team anymore. I'm with TCE or Colby, I should say, ranting about NC State. I'm completely with them. I can't figure that team out. But let me guess the next game. Yes,
Right,
let's
go.
go, Nick. I love it. I love the over on that. Good call. I think I'm not thinking it. I don't care about I'm not taking an under in that game, so I think that's the right play for sure. Let me guess the next game. Ohio State, Wisconsin.
Sure. Yeah, that's the next one.
Give me Ohio State. I think Ohio State is unimpressive. They should have beat Indiana. If you watch
can't
that
beat
entire
Assembly Hall.
game. But yeah, you just can't beat Assembly Hall. Wisconsin is a really good team this year, right? I mean, this was a team that got their ass beat in Providence, and then they beat Virginia, and then like a couple other teams, and they end up beating Marquette and Michigan State and Iowa and Nebraska now. 2 home wins in a row versus Ohio State in Value City Arena. I think that this is Ohio State that should have beat Rutgers by more than 4. Rutgers ends up covering, so that they don't impress me, and they barely beat West Virginia, beat UCLA by 7. So I think this is right on the number of -1. But I leaned a lot of road teams with these short spreads, so I'm going to lean Ohio State on this one. I think Chris Holtmann is going to have them guys buzzing off of their loss to IU. Wisconsin winning 2 Big Ten games in a row, at home against Nebraska, a very good team who we saw beat Purdue tonight outright, and then also an Iowa team that, as I'm sure Rob knows, is on their down year this year, right? Not the same team we know and love. They can run and gun, that's for sure, but sometimes they come out flat. So Wisconsin, I think they're coming off high. Gonna have a low aggression spot, but it's gonna be sweaty as fuck. Ohio State, you probably could get Ohio State plus money at one point during the game, and I love that's why I love conference play. There's opportunities there, like Baylor today. Still could take them to cover. They covered with ease, but they got to like plus 190 live, then plus 170, and then we took them at plus 120. But who do you got? I know this is a homer kind of pick for you, so you don't like talking about it as much. But what do you think about the Badgers coming into Columbus?
One, I've been wrong about this team all year. I've hated them. I wanted them to be dog shit so we could fire Greg Gard, but they're playing damn fucking good. And to even more throw it in my face, I heard a stat. It's either the last time the Badgers have scored 80 points, and it was either back to back or back to back to back games. Was 2015. Went to the fucking national championship game until Coach K paid off the goddamn refs. This team is good. I mean, shit. Chucky Hepburn threw a fucking off the glass oop to AJ Storr last game. I mean, like, that's not Wisconsin ball. These are layups and and bounce passes. Like, they're playing fucking awesome. The last time these two played, it was an Ohio State win in Wisconsin, 65-57. I know people are probably thinking Ohio State's coming home. They're going to get it. They're going to get right after the Indiana loss. They're 2-2 in conference play. They've lost to Indiana and Penn State while beating Rutgers at home and then Minnesota at home. This is at home. Wisconsin has beaten Nebraska, Iowa, Michigan State on the road, and then they beat nope, 3-0 in conference play. I thought I saw another one. The 3-0 in conference play. Granted that Michigan State at the time wasn't playing great. It was the game after that, or 2 games after they really sparked it, but still an impressive win. Ohio State, what scares me is their 3-point percentage. They shoot 37% from 3. Badgers are allowing 35.5. The Badgers are, their defense has not been usual Badger defense, where it's just grind you out. You're getting quick shots and generally open shots. So it kind of scares me a little bit, but we saw what Ohio State did at Indiana. They couldn't claw back. Indiana, they kind of just hung around. Ohio State never really stepped on their throats. They did that with Rutgers too. Rutgers hung around. They won that game by 4 points. Minnesota, that was a 10-point game. It was closer until the end, in that one too. So they're not really like cruising on teams and stepping on their throats. So I think Wisconsin will probably hang around in this one. I would rather kind of play an over, to be honest, just because how efficient the Badgers offense has been playing as of late. Ohio State lets teams hang around, and their offense has been solid too. So at 139.5, I would have to lean over. The last 2 times these two played, it was 130.5. That went under. 132 went under, but this is, I don't know. I like the over. I don't care what the last ones have been. This just feels like two more efficient offenses. And the defenses, Badgers defense has been a little lackluster lately too. So I lean over 139.5. And Rob's saying we're at a sell high point with Wisconsin. He's not wrong. 4 straight wins, 2 conference wins. Now you're going to hit the road for the first time since you got your ass waxed by Arizona December 9th. So I could see them losing, but I think they'll hang around at least, and then late
Of
Ohio
course
State
they'll
will
hang
probably
around.
pull away.
It's a -1. Yeah, it's going to be a sweat. Ohio State-
Sometimes
Ohio State, it's going to be a sweat. Ohio State, I'm with you, but I just think, like Rob said, he's got a point in that. And Wisconsin's going to be 2-1 in the Big Ten play, because they're 3-0 in the
They're
Big Ten
3-0.
play. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So they'll fall to 3-1. They got Northwestern, Penn State, Indiana, Minnesota. I don't see a fucking loss there, to be honest with you. Maybe they come up short against Minnesota, kind of a rivalry game in football. But yeah, I think this is going to be a loss for Wisconsin. Ken Palm's got it 72-71 favor of Wisconsin. But whatever. Like Tom Izzo said, what's analytics? Screw analytics. So, all right, we gotta hustle through this so I can lay down and go to bed, and also chat with you guys in TCE. But Syracuse, Boston College, 80-76. Ken Palm's got it. I just saw Boston College move from 4.5 to 3.5, and CBB Nick's thinking the same thing. He's liking Boston College, it looks like. I like him too. Sure, why not? I love Boston College. They're a fun team this year. This team's going to hang around. What's the over/under on this game? Looks like it's got to be in the 150s, I'm assuming, with what they run.
I'm seeing 155.
Yeah, don't love that over/under spot, so I think I'll just take Boston College with the points, and I think it'll be a close game. It might be a game where it's going to be a game of runs, right? Boston College comes out hot at first. Syracuse comes back, takes an aggressive lead, and then Boston College kind of hangs around. They've been really streaky on offense, but also when they get hot, man, they are scorching freaking hot on offense. And it's fun to watch that team when they're cooking gas. So, oh God, I mean, if I would have told myself and had a sports almanac that Boston College would be a team that I'm betting on this year and have bet on before, and not betting against them like I have the last 3 years, yeah, I would have said this year is freaking crazy. But yeah, I'll lean BC.
Yeah, I lean BC too. I don't know. I've bet on them a little bit last year. They were They weren't good, but they covered some games. I did bet a lot on Quentin Post, like when I was
He's a
doing,
route. He's a dog.
yeah, yeah, his like his prize picks and underdog
Who was
squares
on
for
their
the
team?
fantasy
Who
score.
didn't they have a good point guard last year
Jaden
too that graduated?
Zachary.
No, I thought that he graduated last year. I
Oh,
think.
Makai Ashton Langford.
Oh God, yeah, he was good. He was
Yes,
good.
him.
Yeah, yeah.
He was bald. He shot 25% of the shots when he was on the floor. So he always had the ball, but he was solid. He
Boston
was pretty
College is a
damn
better
good.
team on paper. They just don't rebound. They don't shoot
Yeah.
free throws very well. But
They
Syracuse
beat
doesn't
fucking
shoot.
St. John's.
Syracuse don't shoot free throws either as well. And we'll just see if Boston College is going to foul a lot like they normally do as well. So I think that's the cap there. It's going to be one at the line, but I think BC can cover just based on them being the better team overall against Syracuse. I hate Syracuse this year. Love you, Adam. Love you, all the Syracuse grads. And they did win against Pittsburgh for me, and I had that bet. So always tough to play in the Carrier Dome too. Just a weird venue, right, for an away team to come into.
Yeah. No, it's weird. I mean, I lean Boston College in this one too. I mean, Syracuse has got Malik Brown down low. He's 6'8", but I mean, Naheem McLeod comes in. He plays um, 8, 9, or 13, 14, 4. Like, he doesn't play a significant amount of minutes. Last time he played 20 minutes was November 28th against LSU. I'm not sure if he's got like an injury or what's going on, or if they're not working him in the rotation as much, but he doesn't play as much. Quentin Post is he's like 7'2", 230, 235. So, I mean, like, he's going to own the paint. He's going to have 4 inches over Malik Brown to just get whatever he wants in the paint. Syracuse, they don't shoot the three well at all. They don't crash the glass. They're decent at forcing turnovers, but Boston College doesn't give it away. They're 8th best in the country at hanging on to it. And the thing with Boston College is they can shoot at all 3 levels. You can do 3, they can shoot the mid range, and they can obviously get it at the rim. The problem is their 3-point defense is allowing 36.5%. So, I mean, if Syracuse just happens to be finding them and they're going in, they're not going to have much resistance from Boston College in that one. But I think it'll probably be a solid Boston College win there. They're going to have the advantage inside, in my opinion. And Jaden Zachary's, he's been pretty solid for him. He's been distributing the ball, grabbing rebounds. He's not forcing turnover or giving the ball away either. He's got 1 turnover in each of the last 4 games, and he's playing 30, 36, 33 minutes. So he's not going to be giving Syracuse the ball for free possessions. So I think Judah Mintz, James Zachary is going to be a fun battle, but Quentin Post has got the advantage down low. So Syracuse is going to need to make shots to hold on to the win in this one, in my opinion.
Never an easy thing to do for Syracuse. They can run fast though. What's next? We got a Connecticut Xavier, Butler
yes,
Marquette.
we did
Got some
skip
Big
that
East
one.
matchups. We did skip that one. Yep. Connecticut's
Yep,
laying
UConn.
4.5 against Xavier. Over unders around 145, 146. Bouncing back and forth. Don't love the totals with UConn, especially in conference play. They're always a crapshoot. Really tough to figure out. Am I betting the chalk here? I think I might just add UConn to one of my 2-team money line parlays. I think they get the job done here, but Xavier can play and hang. But a 5-point win, a 6-point win, that's a cover. But the Cintas Center is gonna be jumping. But Connecticut's never failed of coming into a tough environment and getting it done. Right? Did it against St. John's. Did it against Butler. DePaul. No. They didn't do it against Seton Hall, but they came out flat. Seton Hall played really good that game. They were a couple shots away and a stop away from beating Kansas in the fog. And then they played Texas, Indiana. So they're kind of stinky. So I think Connecticut gets it done for sure. It's going to be one of those spots that it's going to be jumping, and Xavier's going to come out hopefully hot. But watching the Xavier team, they don't impress me. They lost to Villanova by 1. They lost to St. John's away, but they can win. They win home games at the Cintas Center. They went wire to wire with Houston They beat Cincinnati. They beat Seton Hall. So it's gonna be a tough one for me. But I'm gonna probably add UConn to that money line parlay, and I think I'll lean the 4 and stay away from the total. What do you like? I think Xavier is going to try to push the pace against UConn, but when you do that, UConn can match sometimes. Although they are a grind you out offense kind of style that plays good, well-oiled machine basketball, passing and cutting, and they always find one guy just sitting in the corner open, or just bang it down low or something.
Yeah, I mean, last year this was a 3-point Xavier win in UConn. But Xavier did have Kobe Jones, Sule Boom, and Jack Nundry go for 54 combined points in that game. And I mean, you can argue Fremantle and Kunkel, but those guys had 12 points combined. They didn't do shit. This was a lot of that old guard that got the job done. None of those guys are here anymore. Xavier or UConn has got not majority, but they've still got a core of that team from last year with Tristan Newton, Caravan, big man Klingon. He's probably not going to play anyway, but they've still got a core, and they're going to remember this loss from last year to Xavier. And I think this year's Xavier's team is far more vulnerable than last year's. I mean, Xavier, their wins are coming at home. They beat Seton Hall at home. That was after the UConn victory. Cincinnati, they beat at home by 5. They did lose Delaware, Houston, and Oakland back to back at home. So I mean, I just think UConn's going to remember this. They're going to get it right, and it's after that Butler scare on the road. I think UConn comes out and just puts it on them early, and they don't let them breathe in this one. I think it'll probably be 8 or 9 point UConn win minimum. I think they're kind of going to keep Xavier at arm's length majority of this game, and then late just put it on them. I mean, shooting 74% at the line. They're getting whatever they want in the paint. Xavier's giving up 55% of your total points inside the paint. So, I mean, yeah, as long as Samson Johnson doesn't get in foul trouble, they don't have to put Caravan at the 5. They'll be fine. And yeah, give me UConn in this one. I don't care how chalky it is, and if it's road SEC or SEC Big East play. I think UConn gets a little bit of revenge from last year when Xavier upset them at the hell the fuck is UConn play at? Why am I drawing a blank on this? It's not important. Either way, beat them on the road.
I don't know where they play either. I can't think of it.
I'm drawing a blank on it.
Screw it.
Butler
what else we got?
Marquette.
Butler Marquette. Jeez, this game's a no bet.
This
for
line
me.
feels too big, especially after what I feel like people are kind of bitching about how Butler can't close games. But we've seen Marquette just drop some games, but this one is at home, so
Marquette's got to come out big here.
off a loss.
I'm not betting this game, but I guess I'd lean Marquette. I think Butler's they got to have a win. I'm definitely not betting Butler. They're a fucking crapshoot Jekyll and Hyde team while they play. Definitely not betting Butler. So we could move on. I don't really have any caps on this game, but I think
lean
Marquette
Butler
can
in
get it
that one.
done.
Butler hangs
Good.
on and gives you hell until late. I mean, 11.5 points, I feel, is a little bit of an over adjustment on that one. I think Butler can at least keep it within 10 points, have it within 4 or 5 late. Then they just shit the bed and they lose by 8 or 9, something like that.
Let's battle.
But it's on the
Love
road,
it.
so I'm not betting. Yeah, we'll battle, but I'm not betting that. But
Yeah,
I mean, if you
we'll
get
battle
Butler
no bet.
plus,
So it's like whatever. It's like
if you get a
whatever.
fat Butler line live or a cheap Marquette line, if you get Marquette cheap during game, like if Butler's got a lead in the first half and you can get Butler or Marquette like minus 3.5, 3, probably take that live because Butler will flare out at some point, especially on the road.
If Butler doesn't cover, you shave your mustache. If Marquette doesn't cover,
No,
I shave my hair. All right.
no, I look like a 12-year-old without any facial hair. I gotta have something.
All right. Pac-12 last year, the Pac-12, Colorado versus California. Will we ever see this matchup again?
Oh, they can't let this one die.
No, they can't let it die. They do play February 28th as well. Fuck. California, dude. Screw them. The team, I don't care that they're back ish. I'll take the I see 3.5 for Colorado. I'll take that
Oh,
because
hell yeah.
I just think Colorado, the better team. We'll see what the status of are some players. They're off of 2 losses, third away. They got to get an away stretch win here, and this is their spot to do it against California. Maybe added to my money line parlay with the odds being a little lower than expected.
Colorado has not won a road game yet this year. If you want to consider a neutral a road game, fine. They've won a road game. But a loss at Colorado State, 5 points. Lost at Arizona, 47. No Tristan da Silva. Lost at Arizona State by 3. Now you're headed to Cal. Cal is off of a road win against UCLA. This is Colorado's 3rd road game in a row, by the way. And is Tristan da Silva back yet? And I think Kobe Johnson or what's his name? Cody Williams. Cody Williams came back last game, but no da Silva. Or does da Silva play? He played 36 minutes. I'm kidding. I turned that game off because it was so bad. So he played 36 against Arizona State. He returned. They lost. Now they're going to California. California is off of an Arizona ass whooping. A close loss to Arizona State on the road or at home. USC they lost to by 8 on the road. And that game is a lot closer than that final score. But I don't know. This Colorado win, this one feels like a desperate win that they need. California's feeling good after the UCLA win. They won it on the road. Colorado, they got Tristan da Silva back. I'm in. I don't care that this line is going the other way. I'm going to let and see where it gets to. But I mean, Cal, they don't defend well. 36.5 from 3. They're shooting free throws all right, 72.5%, but 18.5 offensive percent turnover. They're not forcing turnovers. 52% effective field goal. They're not getting to the free throw line. These are all things that Colorado does well. Colorado turns it over a lot, but they're not. California's not forcing turnovers whatsoever. Colorado can shoot the 3 ball, 55% inside the arc, and they get most of their points inside, which is where California tries to stop you. But guess what? Colorado's got shooters, and if they're going Tristan da Silva down low with Eddie Lampkin, that's just 2 big men. Eddie's going to be just owning the rim, and then you got Tristan who can do it all. So I give me Colorado to get right here. I get it's the 3rd road game. I get they're coming off of Arizona and Arizona State, which California has played. California played them tough too, or played Arizona tougher than Colorado did, but that was off a loss. So I would lean Colorado in this one, and if anything, lean the under. I don't see California lighting them up for 75 points here to help push this thing over.
We could have just said California stinks and still stinks. No, just
Fair.
kidding. Yeah, just kidding. I'm not putting my hard-earned money on California. I don't care how improved they are, but improving from last year is nothing based on how they were last year. Do we skip a SEC spot? Florida, Ole Miss. Give me Ole Miss. I like Ole Miss. And then shout out Adam Rosenberg. He likes Georgia money line or something, a spread against Arkansas as well. But yeah, I like Ole Miss here. I think Florida's a better team, but Chris Beard's got these guys rocking. Home game. I think that the only thing that scares me is this going to be a public dog, and public dogs don't bite. Home game for Ole Miss. Simple spot.
Florida. Are you saying you're betting on Ole Miss?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I'm on Florida. I think here. I mean, they collapsed late against Kentucky. That was awful. This will be their first. I mean, I guess this is their first SEC road game here. Headed to Ole Miss. Ole Miss coming in fresh off an ass whooping against Tennessee. But Florida can play solid defense too. Where I just lost it. And Tennessee, there we go. Yep. Damn, I'm all over the place. My computer's tweaking out. get me back to the right page. Thank you. The only thing that scares me is Florida's free throws. They're shooting 65% from three or free point. Free throw line, which is just not good. And Mississippi's got 2 7-footers. They got 7'5" Jamarian Sharp and 7-foot Cisse. I mean, there's 2 7-footers on Florida, but Jamarian Sharp's got 4 inches over anybody on the floor. He's huge for him. I think he's going to have a solid game, but I still like Florida in this one. Just the fact that they can shoot at all levels. Mississippi lives from the 3-point line. If that's not falling, they're fucked. And Florida's only giving you 28%. We'll round up from 3-point, which is where Mississippi likes to score and get inside. But I don't think they're going to have much luck tomorrow. I think Florida's coming in pissed off after the bad Kentucky loss. I think they're looking to get right here on the road. What was this game last year?
Yeah, you can talk me into Florida for sure. I think it's good.
Florida
could
won
go
by
either way.
15 last year. This will be the first time Florida's
Yeah, but-
played in
yeah,
Ole
but-
Miss since 2022.
Yeah, but Ole Miss last year is nowhere close to the team they were this year. I don't think last year matters as much as we think. I think it's gonna be a good game. You can talk me into Florida, definitely -2. Absolutely, you guys can. So I might have to hop on that. I just initially like a home team here, especially the way Chris Beard's team's playing. But
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I'm not a big fan of Florida's first SEC road game here either, but I like Florida more than Mississippi. So I think if it's a 1-possession game, I think they'll be able to get it done. Especially Mississippi shooting 49% inside the arc. Florida's allowing teams to shoot 45%. They're 38th in the country on defense. So I mean, I think a big key of this game is going to be down low. Is if Jamarian Sharp and Cisse can just body and just own the paint over Handel Ogden and Condon, where they're not letting them have their second chance opportunities, and they're not getting rebounds. I think Ole Miss can have a fun game, but I don't want to back them. They're fairly unproven. I mean, they've beaten UCF 1 by 2. Memphis,
Memphis.
good win. Yeah, I said fairly. Memphis was a good
Memphis-
win, but other than that, who
Memphis-
have they played?
Well, it was
Bryant,
a home
Southern Miss,
game against
Troy.
Memphis too. Memphis is a pretty comparable team to Florida, I would say.
That's very fair. I mean, I have no argument there, but I think Florida off a loss. I mean, when Mississippi caught Memphis was what was this day?
It was a Saturday.
Oh, so Memphis was off a loss to Villanova too. So I mean, two stronger defensive teams for the most part. Florida, pretty good team. They like to play fast.
I think
Mississippi
Florida's the
tries to
team
slow you down.
that's definitely more battle tested and have played a lot
Mhm.
tougher teams. So yeah, either way,
And this is
I'll initially lean
Beard's
Ole
first game in
Miss, but
SEC and conference play at home.
Love it.
So
He should assault them. Just kidding.
yeah,
He's an
I mean, I think it'll
exonerated
probably be
man.
I think it might even be a lower scoring game too, because if you're looking at this, Florida top 60 and top 50 in shots defended or blocked on defense. Ole Miss 5th, 16.1% of possession. So
I can't touch an under in a Florida game. They're not part of that. I mean, what was the over?
they're gonna have
under
to
Kentucky
need
minus
shots to fall.
It was 167.5 and it still hit. Yeah,
That's fair.
I'm not.
That's fair.
I'm not touching it under in a Florida game, but I like it. I think we skipped Oklahoma TCU, and then I don't really. That's the last game that I care about.
Yeah,
Washington
those are
State to
literally,
USC can kiss. Washington State USC can literally kiss my ass.
Washington
I'll be
State
maybe
money
betting on
line.
it, but
Fuck USC.
give me TCU to cover this spread. I love Oklahoma. They've been a fun team, but the model's talking, and I love a good home favored team that's not ranked against a ranked team, especially in the top 10. And this team got screwed over in Allen Fieldhouse. Screwed over. One of the most Bush League things I've ever seen. Arthur Smith will say that it was the QB Neal. I think it was that flagrant call. think the 4.5 might be tough to cover. So I'm gonna watch this line, but I gotta lean TCU here with how fast paced they run. Oklahoma off a gritty win at home against Iowa State. I think this is a letdown for the for Oklahoma, and they get kind of slapped in the face after being like maybe realizing they're not as good. But I love Porter Mosier, but can't fade but can't fade Jamie Dixon either. Both really good coach teams here.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's gonna be a great game. Uh, kind of, man, 4 is a lot of points. 2 possessions. I get it's at home. They're fresh off a loss, but Oklahoma beat Iowa State, who took down Houston tonight. Granted, that was probably a much bigger game with Houston in town. But I mean, Oklahoma's still their one loss is a semi-neutral against UNC. They've played well. Iowa, no big deal. Providence, they did beat at home by 21. They beat an Arkansas team by 9. The Iowa State, they lost to UNC, but I don't know. They're a pretty solid team. They're very, very efficient on both ends of the floor. TCU, they're pretty damn good. And yeah, they got fucked at Kansas. They should have won that game. But Oklahoma, though, the thing is they can shoot threes and they can make them fast and really run it up. TCU, 338th in the country at three-pointers attempted per field goal attempt. So they're not shooting a ton of threes. So they're relying on getting inside, which, that works on Oklahoma. Oklahoma's allowing 53.5% inside. Country average is 50.8. So they're giving up a little more than usual. But Oklahoma can shoot free throws. TCU can shoot free throws. Both are efficient offenses that can rebound. Oklahoma defends the ball or 3-point a lot better. But this will be their first. This will be Oklahoma's first true road game. 4 neutrals. Every other game has been at home. So now they're going to hit the road in conference play to a pissed off TCU team that just.
That's my spot. I mean, I think
Yeah.
Oklahoma's the better team here. This is the only thing that would make me not love this game. Oklahoma's the better team for sure. But this
Yeah,
is just
I mean,
how college basketball is. Oklahoma will
Yeah.
be a top 5 seeded team in March Madness, most likely top 6 if they lose a few games. But you can go 22-9 and still be a 4 or 5 seed this day and age. And I think that's what we're going to see with Oklahoma. This is a total letdown spot for Oklahoma. TCU is going to come out dogging. But I love Oklahoma, and it might be a tough game where it's back and forth. So you could I love conference play, and this is a total it's a gamble inside of a gamble, right? But I've seen this tons of times, and I called this out earlier about Baylor. These teams can get the plus money at this short of a spread. So if you like them and you think that you can get value on a money line because Oklahoma's going to play good, I don't know. It's a gamble inside of a gamble for your reads that you don't end up taking pre-flop. It's a good thing to keep an eye on and just keep refreshing DraftKings, keep refreshing your book, and figure out what's the best value for that. And I think you can see that tomorrow in this game. Oklahoma's going to play tough. They're going to be in this game, but TCU might win with the foul game here is what they're insinuating. So, but if you like that read, it could be a look ahead spot too. They got Houston on deck, but these are 2 big games in a row. So
Yep.
I don't think there's not really a look ahead spot as much as we think.
No,
Oklahoma
you
has
can't have look aheads in Big 12. These are
Oklahoma has one too against Kansas. So and then they play West Virginia and Cincinnati. So nothing too crazy. Cincinnati, they're frauds. Screw them.
Yeah, unless you play on like West Virginia or somebody, I don't really. Maybe a UCF. We'll see how that goes. I don't think you can really look ahead much in the Big 12 this year.
No.
TCU though, elite at forcing turnovers, 23% of the defensive possessions, and they're on defense. They're forcing a steal, 14.8 possessions. Oklahoma offense is allowing a steal, 10.1% of the possessions, 230th in the country. Turnover rate, 18.5%, 228th in the country. So you got a team that's 228th at hanging onto the ball when they on offense, going against or heading to a pissed off TCU team that forces turnovers, 23% of defensive possessions, 11th in the country. I mean, man, I know TCU is not gonna jack up a shit ton of threes and hope to hang on there, but their pace is insane. 14.4, 4th in the country. So they're getting a lot inside too. 12th in the country at inside scoring. Oklahoma, 53.6. That's 92nd most in the country. So that's bottom 100 in the country. I think TCU can get it done here. It is a little suspect that it's 4 points, but it is a top 10 team. So I don't know if that factors into it at all, that they're seeing a top 10. They're going to give them, make it a little juicier, take the points. But man, I think giving TCU 4 is pretty telling of what's going to happen here. It was at 4.5 on my book. I see 4 now, so maybe I will just sit around and see where this one goes. But yeah, leaning TCU with this one and looking under. That under 148 looks a little low, little suspect. So I would lean the under there. I think TCU's, they're going to play clamp defense. They're going to force some turnovers, and they're going to make life hell for Oklahoma tomorrow.
I love it. I think that's it, other than the skipping it.
Yeah. Do you have any
nothing
plays
I took.
locked up for sure?
I have not taken anything yet. I most likely will add for sure the Indiana State Drake over.
Hold up,
Ohio-
UWGB. It's a standalone game. We
Ohio
have to bet
State-
it while we waste time at work.
Ohio State money line. Clemson. I'm gonna figure out the Mississippi State Tennessee game. Yeah, but you know me, I'm not. I'm pretty locked in at work, unfortunately. So that's why I be tweeting my cards like at 5 o'clock when I'm like rushing at work. So
No, I do
sometimes
that
I'm
too.
like
I sit
listening,
and
but so I'm not rushing to bet these games all the time. And most of the times, what my initial lean on these early games are, I fade myself. So I'm definitely not putting my hard-earned cash on IUPUI, so I might as well just fade them. But we know what this Green Bay team's been in the past, so we'll see what my dream tells me tonight about this game, because I'll be thinking it in my subconscious for sure.
Green Bay's team total is 70.5. They've gotten 73, 69, 78, 88, 79, 47 against Oklahoma, 70 against on the road against UIC. IUPUI has given up 75, 92, 86, 55 to Detroit Mercy, 67 to Defiance. A little Green Bay team total over to kickstart the day.
What's their team total?
70.5.
Yeah, I like that. They'll score 72 for sure.
You like that more than the 8? I mean, the over under 134.
Yeah. And once I see if IUPUI is playing tough, I did this. I didn't tweet it, so it's not on my official record. But when IUPUI was playing good with Youngstown State, their team total got to 72.5. I fucking banged that under to bring it back. I'm like, there's no way IUPUI scores 72 freaking points. And they scored 65.
I grabbed that live under while I was at work. It was beautiful. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yep.
Last year, this total was 132.5. Otherwise, they've been in about the 120s.
Yeah, but Green Bay's scoring more this year than they were. Green Bay stunk last year. Green Bay was one of the worst teams in the Horizon the last 2 or 3 years.
Yep, and they still beat IUPUI. They beat IUPUI convincingly. The last time that Green Bay's put up 70 was 2021, but this is a much better team. Green Bay lost to IUPUI by 15 last year to end the year. Is this the last time they play? Because this could be for all the marbles. This could be the last time they ever play. Well, it is, because IUPUI is going to be disbanded.
Are they like official? No, but they're going to be IUI next. I thought.
Oh, they're still going to be. Yeah. Oh, I had my info wrong. I thought they were disbanding and splitting the school up into 2.
Well, think about this. So IPFW was Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne. Now they're just Purdue, Fort Wayne, and IUPUI is going to be in IUI, Indiana University, Indianapolis.
Give us ooey pooey. But yeah, that team total 70.5 looks actually kind of nice.
I like it,
and especially the shitball Green Bay team 68, 67, 69. I mean, this is a better team. You could argue IUPUI is a little better too, but give me the vastly improved Phoenix. in this one.
Yeah,
who
that,
have
yeah,
gone
yes.
over this number.
Confirmed that it's going to be IU Indianapolis. Yep, I think they'll still be the Jaguars. Maybe, I don't know though. But yeah, that was a great show, man. That was fun. I'm excited for the slate. It was a great day today. 3-1 for me, and I'm just looking forward to conference play, man. Soak it up, dog. March is going to be here before we know it. We're going to be betting conference tournament games here soon before we
Oh,
know
yeah.
it. So I'm just soaking up the conference play, man. This is my favorite time of the year for sure, no matter how disgusting cold it is. And we also have a long weekend coming up. I'm pretty sure we got games on MLK Day. They've been doing that the last few
Nice.
years. So got a long weekend of basketball where I'm not working, and I'm looking forward to that.
Perfect.
Yeah, we got Ohio State, Michigan at noon, Villanova, Marquette that day,
When is
Iowa,
this? What day?
Minnesota, MLK Day Monday.
Nice. I have to work. That's just criminal.
That is criminal. I'm off that day, but
Lucky.
all right,
I'm
man.
gonna use
I
the
gotta get
vacation.
some sleep. I gotta get some sleep. I'm gonna be in the TC chat hanging out. But guys, thanks for listening. Rob, Colby, CBB, Nick, everyone that tuned in. It was a fun little show, and it's gonna be interesting. Trevor and I had we normally are like, when it's just us two, we're like, all right, yeah, I like that play. But tonight we had a little differences, which makes it a little harder to cap. But
Always good.
this is that time of the year where it's tough to cap these games.
100%. And San Jose State's going to cover against San Diego State. Those fucking bastards fucked us on last Friday. Good for them. Anyway,
Good for them.
yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Appreciate it. And we will see you tomorrow night to go over Thursday's card.
See you guys.
Peace.